Welcome to The Explainer. Have you ever looked at a story you've heard 1,000 times only to realize you might be reading it completely differently than intended? Today, we're exploring a deeply fascinating analysis of ancient texts. We're looking at a highly specific theory that completely reimagines some of the most famous parables in history, turning them into a massive, complex celestial calendar puzzle. We're going to examine a unique source that decodes symbols hidden right there in plain sight, projecting them against the glowing canvas of the night sky. Okay, let's dive into this. It's a famous story, right? 10 virgins waiting at midnight. 5 have oil, 5 don't. But here is the big question. Why do the 5 wise virgins need oil to keep their lamps lit at that exact hour? It's a question that has sparked endless debate for centuries. But instead of looking at literal oil or your standard moral interpretations, the source material we're unpacking today suggests we need to look up, like way up. This analysis posits that this classic parable is actually a map of the heavens, driven by a very specific celestial timeline. Section 1. Decoding Sun and Moon. To decode this mystery impartially, we first have to learn the source creator's unique symbolic dictionary. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how the theory consistently assigns the sun to the male authority figures in the scripture. The sun represents the father, the Messiah, and the bridegroom. It is considered the elder light. It's the ultimate, unchanging source of power and illumination in this symbolic dictionary. In contrast, the moon takes on the role of the bride and the church. According to the creator's analysis, the moon acts as a faithful witness and a shield in the dark. It doesn't generate its own light, right? Instead, it represents the submissive side of a covenant relationship, perfectly reflecting the brilliant light of the sun into the absolute darkest parts of the night. Let's move to and see how this builds into what the source theory calls the chain of light. It starts at the top, with the Father as the ultimate source. He shines upon the Son, who acts as the guiding light. The sun then shines upon the bride, or the church, which acts as this giant lunar reflector, beaming that truth all the way down onto the world. Authority and light literally flow downward. If you keep this exact chain in mind, the parables begin to take on a totally different shape. Section 2. The Woman of Valor. We're going to reframe Proverbs 31 not just as a traditional poem, but, according to the source material, as a coded map of the heavens. And that brings us to this specific verse, which is highlighted as the absolute vital clue. Her lamp goes not out in the night. The creator of this theory connects this directly to those wise virgins waiting at midnight. Think about it. If the virgins need their lamps to stay lit all night, and the woman of valor's lamp also never goes out, well, the theory argues they are describing the exact same celestial phenomenon. By actually bypassing traditional vowel pointings, which surprisingly were added centuries later, the source retranslates these Hebrew words to reveal a completely different picture. Wool becomes the white linen of the bride. The word for hands is translated as palms, pointing to the pierced hands of the Messiah. Merchandise points to the Son of Man. And most importantly, her lamp is identified specifically as the full moon. It's literally the only phase of the moon that visibly shines throughout the entire night without going out. Section 3. The bread of idleness. Now we have to introduce the antagonists in this decoding, the sluggards and the tradition of the scribes and Pharisees. Here we see a direct contrast. On one side, we have the woman of valor. Her symbol is the full moon, keeping her lamp shining all night, which represents sound doctrine or meat. On the other side, the sluggard represents the tradition of men, specifically the dark moon calendar. According to the source, the dark moon represents a hidden light, a slothful turning on a bed, and the leaven or bread of idleness taught by the Pharisees. So it's essentially a cosmic battle between a calendar of light and a calendar of darkness. To really underscore this, the creator makes a striking connection. When the 2,000 pigs run into the sea in the Gospels, the theory suggests this prophetically points to 2,000 years of unclean spirits residing within these hypocritical Pharisaical traditions. The idea is that they have been actively obscuring the true calendar of the full moon for 2 entire millennia. Section 4. The Pearl of Great Price. Let's shift our focus to the parables of the kingdom, keeping that glowing imagery of hidden treasures in mind. So the crucial point is that traditional teaching usually suggests we are the merchant, right? We're the ones selling everything to buy the pearl of heaven. But this analysis argues that perfectly reverses the roles. In this celestial dictionary, the merchant is the Son of Man. He is the one who sells all he has to purchase the pearl, and that pearl, it's the bride. The church, perfectly reflecting light like a full moon in the dark sky. We don't buy our way in. We're the ones being purchased. It's a massive paradigm shift for anyone who grew up hearing this parable. Section 5, 5 wise virgins revealed. It's time to bring our visual investigation back to our opening focus, the 5 virgins, the oil, and the midnight cry. And this brilliantly illustrates how it all comes together. The oil isn't literal fuel, and it's not some vague metaphor for being a good person. It physically represents a full moon dividing the night. The wise virgins have this oil. Their lamps shine all night long, meaning they are perfectly aligned with the full moon calendar. But the foolish virgins, they miss the gate and have zero light at midnight because they are relying on the incorrect dark moon calendar. They literally just show up at the wrong time. Which brings us to the ultimate conclusion unveiled by the Creator. Why are there exactly 5 wise virgins? Why do they need oil? Because those 5 virgins represent 5 full moons. According to the source, this points to a highly specific Hayden calendar timing, the 5th month of his return. The 5 virgins are essentially 5 celestial markers ticking down to a monumental event in the night sky.
It's a breathtakingly intricate way to view these ancient texts. Whether you see this as a profound theological breakthrough or just a really fascinating exercise in pattern recognition, the sheer depth of this celestial dictionary is undeniable. It forces us to ask, if the full moon really is the true ancient calendar, what other cosmic secrets are sitting right there, hidden in plain sight, just waiting for us to look up?